Hi Management 7330 students, this is Steve Wagner, your professor, and this video is a overview of the syllabus and the schedule for our course. And so let's start at the top of the syllabus. It has contact information for me. My office is in G275 and my email is swagner2 at govstate.edu. It's got my office phone number there. The best way to get in touch with me is probably email. If you're going to call me, probably my cell phone's better. You'll see that in the instructor tab of Blackboard. Of course, coming to my office hours is another great way to interact. And I've got office hours that are online on Wednesday, 10 a.m. to noon. I also have face-to-face office hours on Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can also always make an appointment with me for a meeting to discuss class. This class is an online class, so we're not going to be meeting physically unless you choose to come to my office hours, but we're going to have this class all in Blackboard. It is a fully online asynchronous class, and so it's really important that you reach out to me whenever you have a question, because even though it's all set up and it seems like it just goes like clockwork, I'm here to support you throughout the semester, and so don't hesitate to reach out to me. As we go down, we can see the course description and the course rationale. I think you may have read the description in the course catalog, so let's focus on the rationale. So the rationale says, managing the performance of employees and the functional divisions within an organization is essential to organizational effectiveness. This class explores best practices for managing the performance of individual employees. Furthermore, the use of predictive analytics to measure and improve the effectiveness of HR departments is explored. So in this class, we focus on performance management in the beginning of the class, and then in the second half, we'll transition and talk about human resource management analytics. As we continue down, you can see it got here on the syllabus about textbooks and assigned readings. Now, there is a textbook, and it's listed here. Now, we won't be using the textbook until around week 8, and so if you don't have it yet, that's okay. You should get it and plan to use it. For the first part of class, I have readings posted in Blackboard that I've gotten through our library, and they are PDFs that are posted in each module that comes open. And also, if you go to the instructor tab, there is a folder there that has all of the readings for the first part of the class in case you want to read ahead before a module has opened. Now, reading is a very important part of this class, and in particular, doing the assigned readings is very important because I will look for you to use those readings in the assignments that you submit. And so in all of those assignments, you should find ways to use that material and let me know that by citing that source. As we go on here, you can see, again, this is a fully online asynchronous class, and so the Blackboard website is very important for you to utilize. And if you go into the orientation tab at the top of the main menu, you'll see within there I have another video that gives you a tour of the Blackboard shell. And we'll be using Blackboard as a place for each of the modules in this class. And so there's 15 modules that you'll go through, and in each of them They have different learning activities and instructional materials and assignments that you'll be completing. As we go down, it is important to note here that we're going to be communicating a lot through electronic means. Using your GSU email is very important. It's going to be the primary place I'm going to be sending messages out. And so sometimes people don't want to have GSU email as their main menu. That's fine with me, but you should be having your GSU forwarded to whatever email you're using. So when I send an email out that goes to GSU, it should be forwarded to whatever email you want. Of course, there's other ways that we'll be communicating. There are discussion boards. We're going to use those for assignments, but it's also a place where you can ask course questions. We have a video teleconferencing software called Blackboard Collaborate Ultra, and my office hours on Wednesday morning will be held there. Now, as we go on in the syllabus, you'll see that next we've got listed the course learning objectives. And these are important. I'm not going to go through them, but they're listed here. They're listed in the orientation section. You should use them. You'll see throughout the course that I'll use this acronym CLO. That is for Course Learning Objective. You'll also see that I have module learning objectives. So for each of those 15 learning units, there's also objectives, and I signify those by MLO, module learning objective. And in each item that you encounter in this class, I try and map it to an objective for learning that's in the class or in the module. And in that way, we try and make the class make sense. There should be a reason and a purpose for each thing that we do. And when I'm noting those acronyms about the MLO and the CLO, that's me trying to make sure that I'm addressing all the learning objectives. As we move on here, you'll see that in the evaluation section, it details what the assignments are and how much each of them is worth. And you'll see that I use a point system. There are a total of 1,000 course points that can be earned throughout the entire class. Each assignment is worth a certain number of course points, which is detailed in this section here. There are going to be 10 case study discussion boards. There's going to be 5 HR analytics assignments, 5 performance management assignments, and 2 exams. One exam around the midterm and another exam at the end of class towards the final. Grading system that's used is listed here. Of course, this is the plus-minus system that we use at GSU, and I have here put the percentages and aligned them with the number of course points that correspond to each grade level. I will be using the Blackboard gradebook and regularly sending out announcements when I've done grading. I always try to have an assignment graded within 1 week of its deadline. That's kind of my standard for myself. And sometimes I can do it even sooner than that. As we continue, you can see the different assignments. In these, I often have a rubric listed here, and these rubrics are what I use within Blackboard to grade your assignments. So it's very important that you look at these rubrics and use them when you are submitting your assignments. Okay, so here I describe how I grade the exams, for instance. As we go down, you can see that there's a different type of rubric for the case study discussions. Okay, in these discussion groups, typically what you're doing is doing an initial response by Friday of the module, and by end of day on Friday, and having 2 follow-ups by the end of day Sunday of that module. And you can see that when I'm grading for the case discussion, I'm looking for you to use the assigned readings and to respond to your classmates' postings and to have well-formulated, well-written responses. Okay, and the points for that are all described in the grading rubric. We go on, you'll see we've got HR analytics assignments. Here we're going to give you some challenges around doing HR analytics. Similarly, we've got performance management assignments, and in those we're going to present different applied type of challenges in terms of managing performance in organization. As we go on here, we'll see here more information about how to approach this online class. Of course, we depend on technology in an online class. When you have a technology difficulty, it may be the Center for Teaching and Learning and their help desk that are going to be the ones that are going to be your best place to find that solution. Okay, so if you go to the orientation tab in Blackboard, I've got a link to them and more information about their office hours and how to get technology help. As we go on, we've got some tips for Netiquette. Again, be careful about how you communicate. Again, sometimes we don't quite understand how we're coming across. Really try and place special emphasis on the language that you use and making sure that it conveys respect. I do have information about missed exams. You should have a valid excuse, and I go through what some of those valid excuses might be. I do, for each assignment, give a little bit of a grace period on the deadline, so you can be up to 3 days late, but there's a penalty of 10% of the assignment's point value per day that it's late, okay? And that's, again, without an excuse. If you have a valid excuse, communicate it with me. And, of course, there's no penalty for submitting that late work as long as it's a valid reason, like you're sick or someone in the family was sick or something like that. I've also got information on the incomplete policy and many of the other policies in this class, some that I'll focus on here in terms of disability. If you do have a disability, then the process is for you to communicate with the Office for Access Services, and their website and their email is listed here. Once you've communicated with them, they'll communicate with me and we'll set up accommodations. There's other information on Title IX and emergency preparedness and using AI. And I encourage you to read all of this material. Again, the syllabus is meant to be a contract with you about what this class is about, and I try and be very specific in it, and many times when you have a question, the answer will be here in the syllabus. Now quickly, I'd like to take us over to another document, which is the course schedule. Now I've got an outline in the syllabus, but there's a separate document called the schedule, which is highly detailed. So every activity, every assignment in every module of this class is listed and with it the dates that you should be doing it or the deadlines when things are due. And so this goes throughout the whole class, and so there's no question at all when things are due. It's all listed right here in the schedule. And I encourage you to use this and to keep track of the assignments and the deadlines, and try and keep up to pace, because we're going through this together, and the more that you follow this process, the more we're going to have very rich conversations in the discussion boards and during office hours, and the more you're going to take in this material and use it as it's intended. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I look forward to a great semester with you. Take care. Bye now.